Hello and welcome to week 4. I am going to do my best to keep this video brief as you have some other videos to watch for your discussion boards that are a little bit lengthy, and you guys all are working on that assignment for the end of week 4. So this week's theme is trauma-sensitive strategies and interventions. And your learning objective is to describe universal strategies for trauma-sensitive schools, identify supplemental and intensive trauma-sensitive interventions in schools, and to discuss the PACE approach to working with traumatized students. Writing assignment 1, you guys did an excellent job. I enjoyed reading all of them. You showed a very good demonstration that you have the content knowledge, and also very good job getting in touch with what's going on with your students, even if you can't ask them directly. There was a lot of very insightful writing. This week, we have 3 chapters and 1 video. The normal discussion boards. Note on discussion board number 1, there's a 23-minute video, and then you're going to have to go outside and do some external research. So please pay attention to the example of part 2. And please remember to respond to 2 colleagues on both of these, because you guys are going to be going out and doing your own research and finding and posting that. So this is something that other folks can go and look at if they were interested in similar topics or just interested in your topic, even though they didn't pick it. Discussion board 1 is just a normal discussion board, nothing special. Just remember to respond to 2 peers, even though it's not listed. For both of those, responses are expected. And then on Saturday at midnight, assignment 4 is due. Please note if Blackboard tells you it's late and you turn it in on time, when Blackboard tells me that you guys have posted something late, I double check the time that you posted it. And at the end of the day, if it's posted for an assignment before I start grading it, I'm not too worried. Thank you to those of you who have reached out for extensions. I hope everything is going better and you're getting on top of things. I will note for discussion boards, if you're late on your initial posts and you haven't let me know or don't let me know, that I have a problem with, because your peers have to go and respond, and having less people in the original board makes that difficult. One note on citing a chapter in an edited book. I added this in just because it's something that comes up often, not necessarily always in this course, but over the program as a whole. You're going to list the author of that chapter, the year of publication, the title of the chapter, and then in EE editor and FF editor, that's just their initials, what edition, and then the title of the whole work. So this is the author, year, and title of the chapter for the chapter specifically, and this is the editor, the edition, the title of the work for the entire book, and then the pages of the chapter. So it's a little fun quote here. If you think you're too small to make a difference, I definitely have seen some of this in discussion boards about how I'm just one teacher. Not necessarily specifically to you guys, but overall in this course. If you think you're too small to make a difference, you haven't spent a night with a mosquito. That is an African proverb. One of the things you guys are going to focus on this week is the PACE approach, which is playfulness, acceptance, curiosity, and empathy. So with that in mind, you're going to review Dr. Berger's dialogue video, which is about 23 minutes long, with his guest, Mike Herndon. And then you're going to post your response to 3 things that resonate most for you from the guest interview and why. And then you're going to select one of the topics that Mike talked about, go find some sources, and post 1 scholarly peer-reviewed source and 1 other source you deem to be of value, website, podcast, etc., to support the topic. So our example here is on toxic masculinity, and we have a actual research study, and then we have a video. Guys, we have a problem. And then please remember to respond to 2 other colleagues about this stuff. Go and look at the sources they picked and maybe give them a read or a watch. Chapter 9 of your textbook is focused entirely on the PACE approach when working with traumatized students. So post your response to the following. What has been your experience with PACE approach or one like it? Is it a successful option, appropriate for all K-12 students? Think about a time when a break occurred in a relationship with one of your students. Post a response to the 3 questions posed by your textbook author, Jen Alexander. Those questions are on page 208. I'm pretty sure that's still the accurate page. It might be slightly different depending on if the library has updated the book at all. So it should be the 3 questions posed towards the end of the chapter 9 in that book. Lastly, we're focusing on assignment 2 this week. Several of you have reached out to me, so if you are still searching for a school and aren't sure if the one you have is going to work, please reach out to me via email as soon as possible so that you can have as much time as possible to work on this. You're going to choose a trauma-sensitive school, preferably that self-reports, but if you're doing research and you find one that appears to be trauma-informed, but they don't call themselves that, that's fine as well. You're going to write a paper where you're going to do an introduction, describe the characteristics that are a trauma-informed school. You're going to describe the school that you picked, and then you're going to analyze the school's alignment with the desired characteristics that you already talked about. And make sure to include references. My question for you guys this week is I would like you to rate your current setting, school or otherwise, on a scale of 1 to 10 of how trauma-informed the entity is. 1 being the worst, 10 being the most. And describe why. So for example, in the prison setting, I would say 5 years ago, we were probably a 4 or 5. We were aware of trauma, didn't really necessarily bring it into practice at all. Whereas now, I'd say we're closer to a 7 or an 8. Trauma-informed practices are definitely on the rise. There are the trainings that we're going to a lot, and there is a focus on more of a person-centered approach. So that's just an example. And again, if you have any questions throughout the week, please feel free to email me. And have a great week. And happy Easter if you celebrate Easter.